Hi there. So on this horribly rainy, grey day in lockdown February, thought I'd make another video, and this time it's all about growing your own microgreens at home, like these ones here that I've got. I've tried to put the camera so you can see a bit more on the table this time. So these are really easy to grow at home. They grow really quickly, and you can grow them very, very quickly. I planted these seeds, just under a week ago, and they're ready for me to eat now, if I want to. So you might be asking, what is a microgreen? Well, a microgreen essentially is a sprouted seed. And the ones I used were red lentils. So those are the red lentil seeds that I used. And what you do is you let them germinate and sprout until you've got the seed leaves and you've got maybe 1, 2 or 3 new leaves after that. And that's what you're going to eat. They're very, very nutritious. Really good for putting in your sandwiches, sprinkling on your salad or in your soup. And as I said, really, really, really easy to do. So let me show you how you can get this set up. So the types of seeds you can use, they have to be whole seeds. Don't use split peas or split lentils. Use the whole lentil or the whole dried pea. You can use chickpeas, you can use mustard seed, buckwheat, mung beans. What else have I got on my list? Sunflower seeds. I actually planted some sunflower seeds at the same time as I did the lentil ones. Didn't work as well. I think I made them too moist. But the first thing that you need to do is soak them overnight. This is a really important step. Otherwise they're going to have a hard time germinating. So I've put a fresh batch of the red lentil seeds just into a glass jar of water. So I'm going to leave that for 24 hours. For the lentils anyway, put a lot of water in, because I found that they absorbed a lot of water, and they were actually a little bit dry the next day when I went back to look at them, so I've put in extra water this time. So those need to be soaked overnight. While you're doing that, you can prepare everything else. Just take a tray. This is just a takeaway tray, plastic tray. You can use a margarine tub or any kind of plastic container that you want to use. I used cotton wool. This is like the blanket cotton wool, not the cotton wool balls. You can use paper towels. This is okay for the smaller seeds like cress and the black mustard seed. You can use a piece of old towel even. Of course you can use compost or a little bit of soil, but if you haven't got any of that stuff, the chances are you're going to have paper towel or cotton wool lying around your house. So you're just going to line the bottom of your tray like that with your cotton wool, and then you're good to go the next day when your seeds have had a soak. So the next day, once you've got your seeds have had 24 hours soaking, you can drain them. Give them a quick rinse in some fresh water, and then you can just sprinkle them evenly across the bottom of your tray along there in a nice flat even layer. It doesn't matter if they're touching. They can be touching, but maybe not. You don't want to have layers and layers of them. Just have one single layer of the seeds. So you would just, even though these ones haven't been soaked, I'm just going to show you how you can sprinkle them across your cotton wool like that. Okay, and you can fill, these are just going to keep running downwards, but you can just fill the whole container until you've got a nice smooth layer there. And then all you need to do is get some water and just soak the cotton wool gently. You don't want it to be flooded, you don't want it to be soaked, otherwise your seeds are just going to sit there and start rotting. But you do want them to have the water, so they're going to need the water to germinate. The water in the jar would have helped the outside of the seed coat to soften. But as they start germinating, the little plant embryo inside is going to need water to keep growing. But everything else that they need is within the seed. It's got enough food and nutrients to start sprouting. But after a day or two, once you've seen them start germinating. If you want to give them a little bit of nutrition, what I do is I get some red bush tea, rooibos at home. You can just try normal black tea as well. I just put it in with some water. So this is essentially a cold cup of red bush tea. Make sure it is cold. You don't want to pour hot tea all over your newly sprouted seedlings. But then you would just pour that over your sprouted seeds. You don't need to give it to the seeds until they're well sprouted and starting to grow, because as I said, they've got everything that they need within the seed. But if you want to give them a little bit of nutrition, the cold red bush tea is really good. At that point, they're also going to need some light. Once you've first laid them in the tray, all they really need to be is somewhere warm. They need to be kept slightly wet. You can spray them with a sprayer. If you're worried about soaking your seeds too much, but then just leave them in a warm, it can even be dark place. But as soon as they start germinating, they're going to need some light, so these new leaves, the seed leaves and the new leaves that follow, can start photosynthesizing. And when they get to this height, and as I said, this has been about a week, but you can see how they've really shot up, and you can see the little roots bedding down into the cotton wool. But if you leave them too long,